All right, we are live. What is up, everybody, guys? Welcome back to the RetroBro channel, my channel, where we just like to have fun and talk retro video games. And what no greater way than have Mr. Tommy Tallarico on here to discuss the new Intellevision Amico. He's coming off his Tommy. Your premiere was the 10th, right?
The event was
The event that we just had.
August 5th.
Okay.
Was the event. Yeah.
So now this is your first. Is this your first interview since then? I was going to ask you before we went live.
No, I've done about 5 or 6.
Okay, right on. Dang, I didn't get the privilege. I was hoping, but yeah.
I can lie to you though if you'd like. I could. Yes, this is my first interview, John. Thank you.
All right, so joining me is Cyrus, a very long time Intellevision fan, as you can see from the background.
Look at that.
So
look at that classic Night Stalker shirt. He's got it all going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Proud to be here. Very, very happy to be able to talk to you about the Intellevision Amico. This is it's going to be cool.
So I'm just going to hit the chat here real quick. Geeks with Cash, man, I'm going to add you as a moderator because typically you stick around. And this will probably be I'll add Smash JT. I'll add you one as well, man, because I know you might stick around as well. That way you guys
Smash
can
is the man. He'll be smashing some folks.
Smash says, "Who's this guy? I keep seeing him interview everywhere."
Oh, Smash is great.
He's funny.
So we've got myself. I'm going to ask you the business questions, Tommy. Just a little bit about my background. I am actually a business owner. I own a sports nutrition and supplement company. Gaming is an absolute hobby escape for me. So I get nothing. I do this for pure enjoyment.
Yeah,
it helps me escape reality. So if people that aren't familiar with my channel, we just have fun here. My job is not to sit here and throw you under the bus or ask you questions to make you look stupid. Or anything like that. I want to ask you maybe some hard questions, maybe some easy questions. Cyrus is a fanboy. He already told me that he's going to probably geek out a little bit. So everybody in this chat, you guys should be happy, or everyone's going to be pissed off. We'll see how it goes.
We'll find out. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All right. So first question, man. We know the launch date. Now, which will be April of next year, because of the untimely delay, which I think anyone with a normal head on their shoulders kind of understands the situation you're in, the world's in. It makes sense. You even said it in the premiere, you want to put a product out there that is ready. You don't want to put something out there that you're not happy with. And as a business owner, I totally get that. So now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking at a price point of about $250.
$249, yeah.
$249. So my biggest concern always with this thing was with that price point. How do you expect the casual market, which you said you're targeting, to now spend $250+ on a console to play the same quality games they can typically get for free on places like Google Play Store or like the iPhone Store, Android Store?
Yeah. No, it's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. There's a couple different ways to answer this, and so the first one I would say is that 14 years ago, Nintendo came out with the Wii, and I'm sure we all know people that that were not gamers. Like my mom bought a Wii, right? So she could go bowling. And we probably all know people that weren't gamers that so the Wii was the third biggest selling console of all time at the time. It's number 4 now because the PlayStation 4 recently surpassed it. But it sold 102 million units and it was $249. And that was 14 years ago. And it had one controller and it came with one game, which was really 4 demos in Wii Sports,
right.
And that was 14 years ago. Our proposition is that our console is the same as that one was 14 years later, but you get 2 controllers, which are very a lot of technology, color touchscreen, speaker, microphone, gyroscope, accelerometer, RFID, LED lights everywhere, force feedback. And not only that, but we're giving you 6 full games as well, as value proposition on the thing. But also, all of our games digitally are $9.99 or less. So I could have, John, I could have easily said, you know what? I'm going to do a console. I'm going to sell it at $149. It's going to come with 1 controller and no games, or 1 game or something, right? I could have done that, right? But what our market research showed us, and we did a lot of market research the first year on this thing, is that the people that we're going for, the families, the kind of maybe the more casual gamers or hyper casual gamers, as they're even referred as, they prefer an all-in-one package. They don't, because when you go buy a PlayStation 4, let's say, and maybe you're a mom who's getting it for Christmas or something, and you walk into Walmart or GameStop, or you're on Amazon, and you say, okay, well, here's a PlayStation 4, and it's $400. This Pro one it's $400, but it's 1 controller. Okay, so I guess imagine a family of 4. Okay, well, what games can 4 people play at once? And we got to figure that out. And the games are $50, $60. And now I'm going to have to buy 2 or 3 more controllers. So now all of a sudden you're at $600-$700, right? And so, and so that's our thing. Now, look, it's going to be our job. I hear you 100%. What you're saying is like, whoa, don't you want to be under $200 at least? And the answer to that question is absolutely we do.
Yes.
Of course we do. And I personally think that is going to be our magic price point, and so because of COVID, things go up. Because we kept upgrading the system and using better components, better chips. We upgraded from 16 gig internal to 32 gig internal. We use a polycarbonate instead of some cheap plastic on this. We did a capacitive touch screen instead of a resistive touch screen. Huge difference. So all these things, as we're making the machine, we're like, my gosh, once we would see it and test it, it's like, you know what? We want to really come up with something amazing and special. Like when you pulled an Ouya out of the box, you're kind of like, well, what the heck is this? This, like, it feels so light and it's hanging off the cord because it's so, and the controllers started rubbing off after like a week of use.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go that route. We want to provide super high quality. Now, with every video game system, there's a price that comes out, and all of the call them the first, the cutting edge folks and the people who need to get it first, they're all, that typically in the video game industry, there's those people who are willing to pay. I mean, when we sold our founders editions, which had a lot of extras bonus, but we were selling those at $299. And we sold out 2,600 of them. A little jab at our friends at Atari. We sold out. We put a limit at 2,600. We sold out of them in under 5 hours, and those were at $300. Right. So I agree with you, John. $249 is our introductory price. We're going to work hard and fast to try to get that price to $199. In a perfect world, hopefully for Christmas 2021. But I mean, I can't promise or make anything. If not, then it would probably be Christmas of 2022. These components come down in price. Now, where we're at a disadvantage, again, I'm not sitting here drinking my own Kool-Aid or going to try to, bull with you guys. We're a small guy on the block.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to ask you about that because you look at companies like Nintendo and Sony. I mean, Nintendo,
they can
Mario,
buy 5 machines at a time.
That's
right.
Right.
Again, from being a small business owner, when you're buying your product, if you bought 10,000 bottles or whatever. It's going to be a lot cheaper if you only buy 1,000 bottles. And because we don't have $1 billion in the bank like Microsoft or Sony, or even look at Google, when they launched the Stadia, they spent $1 billion. They had all the infrastructure in the world. And even they probably would admit that they kind of stumbled out of the gate, and who knows the future of it, right? So even if you have all the money in the world and all the infrastructure and all the marketing, that still doesn't mean that you're going to come out with a product that people are going to understand and enjoy. And so for us, we need to walk before we run, right? And so we're going to only come out with, our first run is going to be 100,000 units. We have purchase orders in major retail outlets around the world for 100,000 pre-orders. Let's walk before we run. Let's get those out there, sell those at $249. Because again, we still think it's a deal even at $249. But I think you're right. I think the magic price point's $199, and that's when we'll sell millions and millions of them. Now, one other thing though, to your question, because it's a great question. What about the people on mobile? They're getting their stuff for free. Why would they want to spend $249? Here's the reason. And again, we've done so much market research and so many focus groups tests on this. And this is the answer. One of the things about mobile, first of all, you may or may not be aware of this. The average person, you always talk about, people always talk about, well, mobile's free and mobile's free. The average person just in the United States alone, forget Asia where they're crazy about this stuff, but just in America, the average is anywhere from $80 to $92 a year. That's what people spend on their
mobile games. I believe it. My kid plays a free Star Stable game, and I can't even tell you how much I've dumped. Like every week, Dad, can I get this point? Right. I'm like, you bought the whole game. What do you need like extra stuff for every week? But that's like, whatever. So I totally get that. Yeah, for sure.
And that's the average.
I hate it. I hate it, by the way. So I'm glad you guys are doing it this way.
And when it there comes to you go. Boom. You just nailed it. People don't like the freemium stuff. They don't like in-app purchases. They don't like game designs being designed around how much money they can suck out of you. This isn't the greatest controller. Try to play Pac-Man on this controller, right? Try to play Pac-Man, and you can't. Your finger's right in the middle of the thing. How do you, and zero curation. Right? So 1,000 new games come out a week. But then the final thing, this is the big one, John, is that for all the millions and millions of games on this platform, it's still solitary. It's you and a phone. And there's such a big difference between the experience of playing games together in a room with somebody as opposed to just burying your head. And parents, you being a parent, you probably know this, is that when your child has a phone sitting in the corner, you're just like, man, when's he going to get off it? I don't want to turn this kid into a zombie. Hey, go and read a book, go outside and play with your friends, but when you're playing games together as a family, now you're spending time together as a family. And people around the world, and especially again, the average person in America with 2 kids, family, whatever, they love the proposition of, hey, I can play a game with my child and they're going to like it. I can play a game that's not going to charge me every 3 minutes or going to have loot boxes or there's no in-app advertising. And they love the idea of that. So that's the proposition.
Did you have a question?
I do have a question. Tommy, this is an important year for gaming with the release of new consoles all over the place.
Yeah.
How does it feel to know that you have a superior launch lineup to the Xbox Series X?
Well, that's
exclusives.
That's an Amico shill question right there, and I appreciate it.
He's here for the shill.
It was funny because I'm friends with Phil Spencer and everything, and what was really interesting is even Phil Spencer, the president of the Xbox, tweeted on his personal account about Amico and Intellevision and said, wow, this is a great idea, guys. This is really something that's super cool, So that was really, that was really cool because, like I've always said, we're not competing with Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo and PC gaming. And I don't even feel we're competing with mobile, because mobile is something that's easy. It's in your pocket. You do it all the time. I always say that our biggest competition is like board games and a deck of cards and puzzles, those are the family moments that people are having. And I guarantee, let me go out on a limb and say to you, Cyrus and Jonathan, tell me if you agree with this statement. Our fondest memories of playing video games, think back to when you were a kid or whether it was last week, our fondest memories is when we played video games with other people together in the same room, right? Those are, maybe it was GoldenEye on the N64. Maybe it was a Halo LAN party. Maybe it was Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, Street Fighter with your buddies. Maybe it was Intellevision baseball. Maybe it was playing Zelda back and forth with your dad for the first time. All of us have these memories of being together with other people. And it seems like the industry, like tell me, out of all the Xbox games you've seen, Series X and the PlayStation 5, how many of those were couch co-op? I don't know.
No, they're all MF. They all focus on the online multiplayer.
Right.
That's kind of where their focus is.
Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, but my point being, I'm curious though, Cyrus, would you agree with that statement? Is your fondest memory of video games when you were with other people? And if so, what was it?
Absolutely. I mean, I missed half of my college classes because of the N64. Yeah. I mean,
was it GoldenEye?
GoldenEye, Mario Kart.
Totally.
Absolutely. And
so
with the old Intellevision also, I mean, we would sit and play, try to shoot each other's tanks, try to knock each other's airplanes out of the sky.
Right.
That kind of stuff stays with you. I have memories of that, not just with, like my brother and friends like that, but with my mom. I don't have gaming memories with my mom, except with games like that. This is kind of why I've been drawn to what you're doing, because we desperately need something like that.
So let me ask. Go ahead. Sorry, I got a point there.
I'm just saying the industry seems like it's just growing apart. People are disconnecting.
I agree.
But don't you think, and just to play devil's advocate here, and the chat brought it up a little bit, don't you maybe think they're doing that because they're fulfilling the needs of the marketplace? So I totally get that, Tommy, and I agree. Like, my best moments are when I was, in elementary school, middle school. My friends would come over. We played GoldenEye. We played, Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo.
There you go.
I feel like my kids don't do that. So my question to you, to kind of piggyback off that, is, so what do you consider like your age demographic then? Because I feel like kids today, they don't really want really want those experiences, it seems, when it comes to video games.
So when you say kids today, what age group are you talking about?
I would say between like 13 and 19.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of all of it's great. I'm glad you clarified that, and you'll be glad to hear my response. Out of all of the demographics in the history of the planet right now, that demographic that you just mentioned is literally at the very, very bottom of our list. We know that demographic is not going to be interested in playing Intellevision Amico. I have the market research on it. I can tell you all day long. I can tell you who our market is. I can tell you who our market isn't. That market, because they're in the Fortnite, they're in the PlayStation, they're in the Switch, they're in the Xbox, right? And so, our age group, our sweet spot are families that have kids that are 7 and under. That's our big sweet spot. Now, are we going to get retro gamers as well? Absolutely. But that's a very small demographic. You know who our next, so family's number one. You know who's number two is that are the seniors or the grandparents, right? Again, look at the Wii, look at the nursing homes. AARP, which has 50 million people just in the United States. It's funny how they when we talk to them and they say, on our website, on the AARP website, they have health care, they have all these like life insurance, all these like super important things. You know what thing gets hit the most? They're flash games. So but they got to play them alone, and so many times, seniors want to play with other people and this and that, and they don't get the opportunity to. So yeah, your comment is spot on, which is, teenage kids don't want to play Amico. Super hardcore, gamers or PC gamers might not play it, right? But it might be their second or third machine that they get, because when their non-gamer friends come over, they can kind of play together. But yeah, it was a great that's a great question.
How do you I kind of want to ask, like, I know obviously you guys you're focusing a lot on the family unit. You want to put out games for the family, you want to have families in living rooms. So how do you kind of overcome the idea that Nintendo already meets that niche for the market?
They don't though. Gaming? They don't though. That's the thing. That's so here's the thing, John, is there's about 60 million Switches out there in the world right now, right? 60 million Switches, yet there's 3 billion people that play casual games. So that means that 2% of the people who play video games in the world, only 2% are playing on a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Right. And so I will absolutely agree that when you look at the big three, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, Nintendo is absolutely the company that traditionally has been associated with more of family gaming. Absolutely. Again, not drinking Kool-Aid over here, but they own such a small segment. Do you know how many households in America there are right now that have kids between the ages of 0 to 7 and under? There's 30 million households just in America that have kids 7 and under. And so, and that's a staggering number. And then when you add in Mexico and the rest of North America and Canada, and you add in Europe, the number goes to about 60 million households that have kids, young kids, 7 and under. That's an amazing, so all of those households do not have Switches, and the 3 billion people who play video games every day, only 2% of them play on a Switch. So I think there's a lot of market. There's 200 million hardcore gamers in the world. If you add up Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and PC, there's 200 million people, okay? 3 billion people play casual. So that means that under 7% of the people who play video games are even playing them on consoles and PCs. So we're not trying to take away Nintendo's market. Again, we're not even considering, we don't even consider ourselves competition to them. What we're going after are those 2.8 billion people who don't consider themselves gamers, but who play video games every day.
So I wonder, and this is an honest question, and maybe you can answer this. How many of that 2 or 3 billion, whatever you mentioned, is like somebody sitting in an office bored at the doctor's office and they see a game on the Google Play Store? So I'm curious, like I feel like somebody if you're targeting that market, I feel like that person's not then going to go say, boy, I really like this game. Now I'm going to go spend $250 on a console, because they're not a console player. So it's almost like you're asking those people to now become part of that, 60 million or whatever, to transition over. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm asking you?
Yeah. Well, again, there's 3 billion people. If we sell 1% or 0.5% of those people, it's millions of consoles, and we're a huge success.
I totally get that. Yeah. And,
and
that's part of being a business and taking a risk. So, that's one of those areas where, I may be skeptical in that sense, but I applaud you. I applaud you as a CEO and president and business owner that, I'm pulling for you there, obviously. Yeah. So, and that's going to be one of those questions that nobody can answer. Yeah, that's going to be one of those questions that we're going to find out eventually. So.
Right, and I'd love, and just to kind of add to that a little bit too, is that, again, we have major investors, we have major backing by all the biggest box retailers in the world. We have major licenses from Major League Baseball to Sesame Street to Mattel. These folks don't just do deals with company based on my smile or
some might disagree with you on that, and we'll get into that here in a minute.
Because we have to show massive amounts of data. You don't get into the Walmart store. You know how hard it is to get into a Walmart store?
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
But you can these days with the line outside,
right? And so, do you think I just walked into Walmart and said, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing this game machine. You want to play it? What do you think?"
So I've got 2 questions then that lead into that. I can let you finish your statement.
We have massive amounts of data to back up that people want this thing, and they're willing to pay $249 for it.
Let me just say this. I played Moon Patrol, your demo on the smartphone. It's phenomenal. I love it. I don't care what anybody says. It's awesome. But my question is, see, the thinking seems to be from a lot of these trolls is that these are all just smartphone games, and I'm like, well, when you say they're all just smartphone games, you're totally missing something that I think is, I don't want to tell you your own business. Maybe I'm wrong here, but there's a definite, to me, like you're talking about somebody in the office earlier, John, sitting there and they look in their phone and they find something fun they want to play. Well, there's a huge potential to merge, the console market and the mobile market with a device like this. Because you obviously can play some of these games on a smartphone as a demo, and then come home and play them with the family, play them with the different controllers, do things like that. Are there any plans, Tommy, to kind of capitalize on that as an idea to be like, hey, you want to talk, you say these are just smartphone games. No, but here's the smartphone versions. Okay, and now come and check out what we really have.
That's kind of, we give a little taste of the fun through our Amico Club app. And we're not going to do that with every game, but Moon Patrol is a perfect example where so many people are going like, wow, this is so cool. But, it kind of sucks playing it on a phone. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I hate tap controls. Yeah, I can't wait to play this on a big screen TV and to play it with a real controller. And by the way, not for nothing, but, that's one level of Moon Patrol. We're going to have a whole bunch, but we haven't even revealed yet that in between each level, you're going to get in that spaceship because, you kind of get dropped off at the beginning on a spaceship. And then when you end the level, you get back on a spaceship and then you travel to the next planet and the next moon. That journey to the planet is going to use the face of the controller, the touchscreen of the controller to, move the ship around too. So the Moon Patrol game that exists, I can only put a level on there. We can't put the whole game on there because you need it. You would need the phone. And all of our games, I don't want to say all of our games, 90% of our games cannot be played on any other system because of the way we're designing them around the controller and the uniqueness of it. Because imagine the gameplay and game design you can do when there's 3 or 4 people all in a room with a big screen and everybody has their own screen as well. Imagine the card games,
I thought the card game was cool. When you show the card game and the cards. And they had you would see your hand on the controller. I'm like, that's a cool concept. I really like that. I thought that was neat. Well, I had a little bit of a Uno flashback, and for any of my viewers,
have you seen our dice demo, John?
I have, yes.
Yeah, so that's another, like, again, that's something that tests off the charts with grandparents. Like something so simple, when they have the controller in their hand and they see the dice fall down and the thing vibrates, and you can hear the dice coming through the speaker, and they're shaking it, and they're seeing the dice shake, and they're feeling it, and then they throw it up on screen. Just that thing alone, is a wow factor moment to a hyper casual or non-gamer,
So I wanted to I want to kind of backtrack and get into, you talked about Walmart, Best Buy, a lot of those retailers you've partnered up with. I had a question. So in the premiere that we saw a few days ago, we learned that we're going to be able to buy it on BestBuy.com, Walmart.com, GameStop.com. Well. Right. So are you going to be able to buy them in the stores as well? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Physically in the store. Okay, so that kind of negates my question a little bit. I was going to ask you, who is fulfilling those orders? Is it Intellevision or is it the actual retailers? From the online
no, the retailers. Yeah, I mean, there's. I don't know. We might, people in the chat or whatever might not understand. But do you know what a 3PL is?
Yes, I do.
3PL, right? So we have 3PL provide. Like you can't. No one can sell directly to Walmart. That's not how things work, right? There's, you have distributors, and they're called 3PL providers, right? And those are the people that, so we negotiate the deal with Walmart, but then we don't sell directly to Walmart because of and same thing with everything, Best Buy, even Amazon. If you're dealing directly with Amazon, there's a 3PL provider that then is the one that's in charge of getting it from the dock in California, let's say for the US, and getting it into their warehouse and then getting those out to all the stores. We don't do that. Walmart doesn't do that. The 3PL does that, and so that's how they get. To all the stores. But yeah, we negotiate directly with the retailer, though.
So the reason why I asked that, and we'll get into some Pat and Ian NES punk stuff here. They did a video. God bless their souls. I have to say that because I might not say some nice things moving forward, so I want to make sure I'm covered. But no, they've been overly critical now. They did a 45-minute video about your premiere that you showed off, and they had some things to say that I saw and I didn't seem right to me. So I kind of want to talk about a couple things. Sure. I don't want to go crazy too far into this, but I know obviously they're a larger channel. They get a lot of viewers. Probably a lot of people who are in my chat now may have seen that video. So I mean, one of the things
all the negative ones.
one of the things that I saw right away was, let me find it here because now I lost my spot. One of the things they said, they accused you and the team of just buying brands because you have enough money, and these partners you mentioned, such as Sesame Street, MLB, they're not real partners or friends. See, but from my experience, so they're pretty much just saying, hey, I can go out, I can buy the Sesame Street brand, give them whatever money they want. Whatever money they want. And then I could slap a game on it. From my experience, that's not how it works. Now, I'm in a totally separate industry, but can you kind of explain to the audience here that how does that process go with you acquiring IPs like Sesame Street, Major League? What kind of QA do you guys have to go through to make sure you're actually delivering a quality game for your console?
Right, and the thing about those guys too is that they keep moving the goalposts, right? So if you watch their very first video they ever did on Amico, they said the following things. They said it'll never be available in stores. No one will ever carry this. They said they'll never get any licenses, big licenses. They said we'd never get any developers on board to make things because no one's going to want to sell their game for $9.99, blah, 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 right? And so they keep moving the goalposts. Even in their last couple of videos, you'll hear them say stuff like, well, they've never even shown the machine being played with a controller. Like they've never showed a game being launched from the menu screen with a real controller and played. And so, we were showing that anyway. That
according to them, you didn't show it, but we'll get into that here in a minute.
Again, they're because now they have to move the goalpost. Well, he didn't show it turning it on from scratch and loading. Yeah, I'm going to sit there for 12 seconds while it loads skiing. Yeah. Genius. Genius. But to talk about the licenses, Major League Baseball doesn't give their license to the highest bidder. Sesame Street, that's been a company that's been around 50 years. Do you know how many meetings and design and people and layers and vice presidents and legal people and everybody in the company had to be excited and sign off? They don't just do, he made it sound like, they just take anyone's money.
Yeah, that's exactly how he made it sound.
That is ridiculous. And that's somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. Yeah. And if he doesn't know what he's talking about in regards to that, then you have to question everything else he talks about, because he really doesn't know what he's talking about. And you want to know the funny thing and about that whole situation is that when, this whole feud in his mind started.
I was going to ask you if you ran over his dog. Did that happen at some point?
I did not. No. I didn't steal his girlfriend. No, it didn't happen.
You asked a different question earlier when you talked to me, John. What was the other question?
Yeah, we'll talk.
We were wondering if you might secretly be his dad, if there was some kind of
ouch,
something that we wanted to share with.
I don't know. He is Italian. You never know. But no, the whole thing started because the guy has an ego. Let's just be,
you don't say.
He goes around telling people that he's more famous than me. He does this publicly on his, thing, and I'm more famous than he is, whatever. But the whole thing started, just to be clear, is that his first video, I wrote him a nice email. I wrote him a nice thing on Facebook saying, hey, on Twitter or on his YouTube channel. I said, hey, congratulations on all your success. It's been really great. Hey, I noticed that there were a couple of things in your thing that I wanted to correct. And I was wondering if I could talk to you about it, and maybe you could come up and see the machine and play it. And I think when you get more information from me about what we're trying to accomplish, that I think you might be more excited about it. That's the email I sent, and it's the message I left. And he freaked out. He deleted the message on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. He deleted my message. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. Maybe it didn't go through. I posted it again. It got like 20 likes. He saw it, got 20 likes. He deleted it again. He didn't want to be, he was feeling like I was like trying to like call him out for being an idiot or something. No, I wasn't. And I've done this. The people who know, even the haters know that, I'll go on videos, no matter how good or bad they are about Amico. And I'll go on and I'll go, hey, this is, hey, let me give you a little bit more of information, because that thing you said, and I'm here to correct it. And I'm always open and nice and cordial. And I have that email. And then when he kept deleting it, I went on Twitter. I said, hey, Pat, my messages are getting deleted. So I just want you to see this. Again, being totally nice. And that's when he said, oh, why don't you send me an email? Why are you doing it on Twitter? And I said in the response, Pat, I did send you an email. I did. And you got it. And you didn't respond back to me. So don't tell me and then he says, I start attacking him. I'm attacking him because now I'm calling him out as a liar. Well, right. I'm sorry. Facts are facts. So his ego has now his mission is to destroy a retro gaming company. And that's a shame because, he gets invited to a lot of these retro gaming conventions. And I hope the people who do those conventions, see, like, for somebody who's supposed to be into retro stuff, he trashed the Chameleon, trashed the Ouya, trashed the Atari VCS, trashing Amico. Do you see a pattern here?
For a guy who loves retro, it does baffle me a little bit. I like.
Well, Pat's had egg on his face ever since the Coleco Chameleon thing. Yeah.
That too. Yeah. That Diablo didn't do him any favors.
This is absolutely an ego thing. How dare you tell him he's wrong about anything?
And by the way, for the last year and a half, I have still, even all the hateful and ridiculous and misinformation that he gives every week on his channel about us, I still say, look, let's break bread. We're Italians, right? I said, come down. I'll show you this system in person, water under the bridge, get over it, and just come and see the machine. And by the way, if you don't like it and trash the heck out of it, so be it. That's fine. But at least you can see it and play it, instead of making up all this ridiculous nonsense and lying to people. And the problem is that the people who are listening actually believe what they're saying. And that's where it's, and by the way, half the folks in this chat right now who are the haters who follow us around every day, commenting on every video, they're big followers of Pat and Ian. That's what they've cultivated. They've cultivated these, 7 or 8 folks here, hating us with all their might.
And that's why I wanted to give you the opportunity, not like you need to, but kind of, that what we talked about, the licenses was so blatantly wrong. It was just ridiculous. When I heard that, I immediately texted Si. I think there was a few others I was like messaging. I'm like, I have to ask Tommy about this because that's absurd.
Sesame Street just does shit for the money. Yeah. They just, whatever you give them, they'll just, it's ridiculous.
Another thing they mentioned is, and you kind of already brought this up, but they were talking about how when you went to the console, it was already in sleep mode. So now they're saying, it was just the operating system maybe working on an Android device or Linux. So I'm going to ask you on record, Tommy, was that you full actual gameplay on the Amico?
100%. And the other thing that they lied about is that when they said, oh, that Evel Knievel game and that Nitro Derby racing game, that's not playing on the Amico. Really? I'll give you, John, and I'm being serious, I'll give you the developer's email address, and you can email them and ask them if that was playing on the Amico or not. 100% it was, and we've had the board and everything up and running since last year, and his buddy, Metal Jesus, Metal Jesus, John Riggs, Smash JT isn't a buddy, but Metal Jesus is a buddy of theirs. He saw it. He played it. He saw it not hooked up to a PC or some, whatever imaginary, thing they think we have going on. He played it himself over a year ago at E3 last year. And he told Pat that, and he's still a year and 2 months later. So this is the thing, John. They know it's real. They know it's real, but they have a product to sell. And their product to sell is trashing us. That's their product. And unfortunately, their fans, not all of them, but a lot, some of their fans, if you'll read their comments, they're buying right into it. And that puts a big smile on his face because he's getting more views. And he's even admitted on his podcast that he's looking forward to Amico failing because they were getting all the best. They were making the most money and getting the biggest views during the whole Coleco Chameleon thing, and now they're going to relive those glory days, because he's going to trash the Amico, and he hopes to get his subs and his views up.
I think he wanted it to be the Amico. The Chameleon.
Yeah.
And then when he found out, well, this isn't the case, he would rather die on that hill than say, all right, let's reassess this and look at it.
Exactly.
Let me just say this. Okay, that's Moon Patrol running on my phone. Right. If you're going to criticize this thing as running smartphone games, it's running on a smartphone. Okay, you can't then say you don't think it's really going to run. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like that is some deceptive BS, man.
Well, and again, these are people that are supposed to be representing the retro community. Shame on them.
these guys, he writes his little book about Nintendo and acts like
Well,
he's the authority.
Well, let's be clear. He pays a bunch of people to write for him. He gives them credit. So fair enough. But, he's not sitting there writing every word.
Well, okay, there you go.
I got two more Pat Ian things I want you to address, and then we'll move on from them. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So one of the things they said early on was Ian brought this up. He accused the premiere as being a ploy to get investors. He said things like, "We don't care about partnerships," which, by the way, I disagree with. Why would you, as a consumer, not care about partnerships? That makes no sense. I absolutely care about partnerships. I want to know what kind of support something I'm buying into has.
That's right.
So was the premiere for fans, or was it for investors? If you're even still looking for investors,
that's a great, fantastic question, John. And this is the answer. Again, you'll never look. I'm an East Coast Italian like you, right? You know us. You know our ilk. We wear our heart on our sleeves. We got
a mouth we can't control.
we talk straight, and if people don't like it, oh well, deal with it. We don't care, right? And so I'm sure we probably have that in common, because I've seen a lot of your videos, and I'm like, this guy's an East Coast Italian for sure. And so the answer to that question is all of the above. We did that for retailers. We did that for investors. We did that for our manufacturing partners. We did that for our distributing partners. We did it for our retro fans that know about us. We did not do that for our target market. We didn't do that for families. That's why I skipped over Sesame Street and Mattel real quick. Boom, 10 seconds. If I was making a thing for our target audience, look at that thing as more of, here was my goal with that. Oh, and the other major people we made that for is for our developers and publishers, game publishers and other game developers. We were making it for other licensors who we're negotiating with now. Wow, look at how they did that Evel Knievel bit, and they hit his website and they talked about his museum. Wow, this is really great. Oh my gosh, we're going to be in the same basket as Major League Baseball, Mattel, and Sesame Street. Boom, we're all in, right? But the biggest thing that I wanted to show, because it's only been me who's been talking really about Amico for the last almost 3 years. My biggest goal is I wanted to show all of the other people, the hundreds of people that are working on this around the world. So people, were like, oh, there was way too much talking. I get it. Yeah, there was. Okay, fine. Yeah. Our goal was to have those people talk. Our goal was not for me to say how great the controller is, but all the developers who are actually playing games on the system, creating games on the system, using the controller for the system, to hear it from them and to show that, hey, we have a customer service department. This isn't me in a garage doing some crowdfunding campaign and making this on my Erector set. This is a worldwide thing. That was our biggest goal. And in that regards, John, we knocked it out of the park. All of the people who we wanted to impress, we impressed. We raised tons of money. We got over 500 new pre-orders within 48 hours of that happening. And licensors we signed deals with, that we were like about to sign deals with. They said, oh my gosh, this was amazing. And here's the last thing I'll say about it. The last thing I'll say is, if you go on the video right now, right, there's over 50,000 views. Now, that was an hour and 20 minutes. So it's not like people watched that 2 or 3 times, right? So if there's 50,000 views, that probably came from about 45,000 people. Probably fair to say, right? Look at how many downvotes it got. It's sitting at around, I don't know, 300 maybe, or something like that, right? I don't know the exact numbers. So what does that say? That says that out of all the people who watched it, you know what? 1/2% disliked it and downvoted it. I'll take that any day of the week. Oh, and by the way, do you guys remember when the Wii, about 6 months before the Wii came out? Do you remember how everyone was trashing it and Nintendo sucks and what are they thinking and blah, blah, blah? Do you guys remember 6 months before the Xbox?
I remember before that Switch launch, man. It was getting a lot of
not only but also the Switch as well, right? Nintendo Switch. People are like, Nintendo's got to get out of hardware. They don't know what they're doing. They should just do software. They should just license games on all the systems. They're idiots. And those were Nintendo fans saying that. Watch the PlayStation 5 reveal and look at the chat. And it's just negative comment after negative. And those are the hardcore fans. So for us to have our haters out there and for us to have overwhelming positivity out there, again, look at the hundreds and hundreds, 6, 7, I don't know what it is, 5, 6, 700 comments on that video. 95% of them are positive. Do people think those are fake accounts? You know, go ahead, click on every one of them if you'd like. You know,
I think the more we see the Amico, at least for me, because I wasn't really 100% on board.
We talked about this side. We, in fact, the video Tommy, you had emailed me. I was live streaming months ago, and I was playing Terminator, and somebody in the chat brought up the Amico. You were on chat with me. We were both kind of like we were both kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. I don't know what to think of it. After your showing, I mean, I'm still on the fence. There's a couple good games. There's a couple games that if they launch with the console, I'll pre-order one. Okay. But, you know, you were respectful. You emailed me. Exactly. So, but it was always, I'll give it a chance. Let's see what they're doing. And then you had your showing. I'm like, wow, there's a shit ton of people here. There's a lot of people. I had no idea there was this many. I mean, this is a team. Right. Like you said, this isn't just you with a couple of buddies. This is a team of people, you know, people that have had, I mean, between all of you, hundreds of years, you know, in the gaming industry. Yeah. So that as a consumer, I look at that and go, okay, if I get one, it's probably not going to be gone in a year. So yeah.
Well, and see that. So there you go. There's the answer to the question. We're simpatico on that, which is.
Sorry, Born. I didn't mean to cut him off.
My goal was to get folks like you who are maybe on the fence to go, wow, this is bigger than I thought, and boom. So I got my goal with you as well too. But go ahead, Cyrus.
Yeah. I got to talk about games for a second. We got to talk about.
Yeah, let's do that because I was going to get into that. So go for it, man.
I need to know more about you. You barely you scratched the surface talking about Disney and talking about Tron on your video and talking about the baseball game.
Yes.
I need to know about those specifically. Like what is going on with this?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I'll give you the up to the minute thing. I mean, I gave the up to the minute thing last week, but I'll give you this week, which is actually going to be disappointing to you because it's the same as last week, which is we're in negotiations with Disney. You know, as a lot of people may have heard, you know, they've announced, or there's rumor, I don't know if it's official or not, but they announced a new Tron movie with Jared Leto. Is that official or is it a rumor?
I think so. Yeah,
I hope you didn't have to sign any NDAs. No,
I only heard about it. Yeah, I'm kidding. So I don't even know about it. But and so that's a very positive thing for us getting the Tron license because, you know, Disney, if there is another Tron movie coming out, they're going to want to promote as much Tron stuff leading up to that as they possibly can. So that's a very positive thing for us that you know, that they still think Tron's relevant and they want to do another movie. So that's been great for us. And we're getting closer to that deal. So we're really excited about that. And Major League Baseball, we're in the development stage of that right now. I can tell you that it's going to play a lot like the original game, or actually the World Champion Baseball version. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be like, you know, top down. You're going to be able to see every player on screen. but the graphics will be a lot better, not photorealistic. It's going to be, a little bit, kind of not really pixelated, but more pixelated than like cartoony or whatever. The players are going to look decent. We have all of the uniforms, all of the teams, and we're going to even bring back teams like the Expos and the Brooklyn Dodgers. So, so we're going to have some fun with that one.
I was going to ask you about MLB, so I'm glad you touched on that one.
Are there any other sports games like down the road that you're looking at, or
hockey? We got hockey on the what do you call it? On our, I don't want to say back burner, but because it's on the it's next in line to start. Okay. Soccer. Now we probably see the thing with sports games. You guys know this from being around video games, is that you always release a sports game when it's the beginning of the season, because that's when the hype builds, right? So expect Major League Baseball on launch. If we're launching, in April, that's perfect timing. Yeah. But not great timing for soccer, because soccer really doesn't start till late summer or fall. Same with football. But I can tell you that football, hockey, and soccer, those major sports, I can tell you that bowling is probably going to be on launch, if not, very soon after.
Wait, you said football. Is this an NFL license thing that you're talking about, or is this?
We've been talking to the NFL, and again, I'm going to be serious with all you folks. And then again, this is why Major League Baseball is so important. I think this helps solidify, but the NFL was too expensive for us. I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and go, well, we didn't really think of. I could have easily have just said, we're not really interested in the NFL, or they turned out. No, I'm honest with you. They gave us a price. We're like, okay, maybe we'll try again when we have 10 million units out there or whatever,
Right, yeah.
But we do have retro licenses like 10-Yard Fight. We have the Intellevision football game. We've been talking to the Tecmo people a lot. That would be a great one to bring them. So if we can do a couple of other football games and then bring the NFL in by 2023 or 2024, well, then we'll do that. But again, I'm just being honest, right? I could sit here and lie all day long as to not to embarrass ourselves. But look, I'm proud of what we've accomplished. We're the little guy. We're the underdog. People should be rooting for us instead of, some of these folks in the chat who want to see us.
It embarrasses me as a retro gamer and as as a YouTuber to see the level of hostility towards somebody who's obviously pouring his heart and soul into a project where he's trying to release a real console that can do things that aren't really available out there on the market. I don't understand this tidal wave of negativity from these people. I don't get it. Like, okay, you don't like this kind of game. Fine. It's not for you.
The weird part is that, okay, if you don't like it, fine. It's not for everybody. I mean, have you ever heard me say, oh, everybody's going to, no, it's not for everybody. Right. But if you hate something, why would you spend hours every day focused on something that you don't like? Like, my gosh, get a different hobby. Like, put that energy into something positive. Like, learn a different language, build a shed, go, find a girlfriend. So do something, like, do that positivity. I feel bad that they're spending so much of their time, hours a day, on something that they hate. Like, it's just very strange.
So
I just want to say real quick, I'm going to do a response video later after all this where I talk to these people's comments.
I'd love that.
There's a bunch of crap in here that these people need to be called out on. So I'm not going to do it right now because this is precious time, but I'm going to get back to you and you know who you are.
So Tommy, we're going to kind of rapid fire these best we can.
I'll try to keep it quick.
Yesterday, I put out a video saying we're going to go live. I am going to try and get to the chat still best I can, guys. So please hold tight. It's really hard to sift through right now. Yesterday, I put out a video announcing this live stream. Those people, I said they will get their question answered. So there's quite a few, but we'll try to do our best to rapid fire.
Okay, I'll try to do quick. I'm two Italians talking. That's a big ask. That's a big ask, but let's try to do it.
Arioka, who's actually in the live chat, he said, after playing the free Moon Patrol Amico demo on my iPad, it made me think, what's the point of the console and why play this version when the superior arcade classic is readily available to play, download on PSN for the eShop for $7.99 or free on MAME?
Well, if you like the original game, you don't have to buy the new version. If you don't like the new version, then you don't have to buy it. Simple. There you go.
Nick T. Wolf, I won't be able to be on the live stream and knowing how things go, I figure my question would get missed. How has his marketing, I'm assuming Tommy, plan for targeting mom, kid, influencers publicly affected what he thinks his sales will be like? Does he think they have done a good job enough where they might sell more, or will it look like it could be a retro-only market for now?
Yeah, no, definitely not retro-only market. And our marketing and advertising, like I said earlier, we haven't started yet. Why would we market to a mom crowd when we're 8 months away from selling something? Our big advertising, our millions of dollars that we're going to be spending on advertising is going to happen a couple weeks before it comes out. And yes, we are already talking to major influencers, mom influencers, the Christian community, senior community, the Hispanic community, which we value very, very much, who never get targeted to. We're talking to kid influencers. These are going to be our life force when people, because the secret behind the Wii was, if you just put out a screenshot of the Wii or gameplay footage of bowling, people would be like, well, that's dumb. You had to play it and you had to hear it word of mouth how great it was. And that's what we're going to do. And we have a lot of the people who marketed the Wii to its success. They work with us now. So we're not stupid. We don't think that this is just a retro machine for a retro crowd. If that was the case, yeah, I'd probably sell 50,000 of them and call it a day, right? But no, we're going after the bigger pie.
Yeah, the Geek Gateway asks, he says, ask Tommy if he thinks it's deceptive advertising to use footage of games that are not running on Amico hardware in the official YouTube video events. But you
he's one of the kind of one of our deranged guys.
I think that's a question for Phil Spencer, not for Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So exactly. How many of those cinematics were running up the hardware? No, so that's a misrepresentation. So they what they try to do is they try to take something I say and then blow it up into something big. So I can say again. Let me tell you the whole quick thing. I want to be quick about it. Nitro Derby, and Finnegan Fox, and almost every single game. Evel Knievel. Those were all running on the Amico console. The one we didn't was Retro Force Redux. And we got an exclusive version that's called Retro Enhanced. We used different trailers, and we put together a trailer of that because we're still putting that game on Amico. So it wasn't on the system yet. So what do I just, so I'm like, hey, it's just an announcement.
It seems obvious to me.
And by the way, it was obvious. Yeah. And so who cares? Yeah. So if his question is it deceptive to use an existing trailer to announce that you're doing a game that already exists? No, I don't think that's deceptive at all. Right. And I think that every single company does that.
We've seen it before. Exactly. EasyG asks, and there's quite a few here. He's in the chat.
My favorite.
We're going to get into some of these. He says, I have to laugh. Please don't let this turn into another infomercial. Here's my questions. So we'll rapid fire these just quite a bit. Will there be physical media? And if so, when will we hear about it?
Yes, there's physical media, and you'll hear about that probably by the end of the year.
All right. When will we hear about all the packing games to be on the Amico? Well, is that the end of the year as well?
Well, we've announced 5 of them already, and we're going to announce the 6th one closer to launch because it's such a special game and it's something you need to show people playing. And with COVID, we can't do that. We can't show a bunch of people playing it, and it's such a unique experience that we don't want somebody to knock it off.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, go for it.
Have y'all talked to Activision at all about the? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we had the original Pitfall guys, David Crane on board. He wants to do an exclusive new Pitfall game on Amico. I approached Activision with David's blessing and everybody's blessing, and they said, you know what, come back to us after launch and when you're a success. Fair enough. Again, now I could have lied to you again there, couldn't I? But
so there's interest, but yeah, it's a wait and see kind of thing. I understand. I got you.
And by the way, EA is the same. Ubisoft is the same. They're like, yeah, you know what? And I get it. They're used to spending tens of millions of dollars. They're not going to like spend resources on something that they don't know that's going to sell or not. And again, that's why people should be praising all of the stuff we've been doing. Like, what does Mattel know that they would give us, that they would want to work with us as a partnership? And I will say partnership, no matter how many people it ruffles, it is a partnership. You think we just take their license and then slap it on stuff? No, they work with us on the design. They work with us on the art. They work with us on making sure that their property is presented in the right way. So for those guys to say, oh, he can't say it's a partnership. It's not a partner. Oh, yes, it is. Somebody who's never done anything.
It's so disappointing that you have to waste time talking about these people
when
we should be talking about what you're doing and the games that are coming out and the technology and explaining it to people, because that might be the biggest problem, is that people don't understand because they're making these assumptions like, oh, it's just a smartphone. No, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, right.
But that's the explanation that people need to hear. And instead we're having to talk about, Itchy and Scratchy on their damn podcast.
Well, but look at the person who asked this question, right? Like, he's in the chat now, and he's literally like a stalker. Like, let's be honest. And he just said, no, it's not a partnership. And you slapped it on a game.
EZG, how many partnerships have you done in your life? That's my question. Like, how many partnerships have you had? I mean, do you not understand how this works? Like, I'm sorry. What Pat and Ian said there is an absolute and utter lie. I have to do it with my business all the time. If I have a flavor of powder that we come up with, protein BCAAs, we've gone through this, and it tastes like a certain flavor, I can't call it juicy fruit. I can't call it Cocoa Pebbles. I have to go to the company, acquire the trademark, acquire the license. I have to sit down with them. I have to send them product. They have to QA the product. I'm sure it's no different in the video game industry, if not more involved.
I mean, Mattel's,
100%. It's 100% a partnership. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't want to, because I'll get mad. I'll start talking. I'll go on one of my bro rants. Cyrus knows how we get.
John, we'll get to all that later.
So go ahead, but keep going.
So when will we know the launch lineup?
I've announced 5 of the. Oh, you mean the launch lineup?
Yeah. When will we know like what games are launching with the console?
Probably the beginning of next year.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, because we're working on 50 games right now, and we're going to launch with about 30 games, and so I don't know which 30 of those 50 games. I have a pretty good idea, but if I say something now and then it doesn't happen, oh no, he was such a liar, So we'll probably be releasing that info as we get close, when the games get finalized and we start to see like, okay, we have 7 Retro Reimagined games, but we need to release 5 now, and then we're going to release 1 in 3 weeks after launch, and then another one next month after that. So we haven't decided that yet because we want to see how they all come out first.
Perfect. I'm trying to get a couple more of these here. Here.
Tommy, I didn't I didn't reserve mine. Is there any way I can get a wood grain console? Is there any way?
You can get a wood grain right now.
Yeah. I can.
Well, the Founders Edition is sold out, but we're doing pre-orders right now, and it's $100 completely refundable deposit, right? Because that's the other lie that people put out there. Oh, you're crowdfunding the thing. No, we didn't. It's not crowdfunded whatsoever. If you put $100 down on something and you can get it back at any time, that's not crowdfunding, right? And you can do that on an investment site. It's called fig.co. If you go to fig.co right now, and you can see we've raised over $5.5 million as investment, not as a crowdfunding campaign, not as I'm giving you this money and blah, blah. No, this is an investment into our company, which you will get dividends back. Very different. But on there, we're using that site to do pre-orders as well. So if you go on there, you can get a wood grain. It's the only place where the wood grain's being pre-sold right now. And you put $100 down and you can get it back at any time. If you change your mind tomorrow or next week or the day it comes out, boom, you get it back, no problem. But you can reserve one now. And the reason we're doing that is we need to understand how many wood grains do we have to manufacture out of this 100,000 that we're doing? How many wood grains? How many purple? How many red? How many white? How many black? So we're trying to get an idea, and we have the next 8 months. Well, we're going to start manufacturing in January before the Chinese New Year starts. So, we need to know over the next, 3-4 months, kind of have a good idea of percentages.
So there's a couple.
I was going to say add one to the list.
There you go.
There's most of these you answered. There is one question I'm kind of curious about. Asked by ST. How much will one extra controller cost if I don't want to use my phone? So I just want to buy a controller.
Yeah, that's a great question. All of the casual games and the card games. That was the other thing that again, hate to keep bringing Itchy and Scratchy up, but. One of the other things are like, oh, look, they showed that card game. They didn't even show it on a real controller. They showed it on the phone. Yeah, that was the idea. The idea was to show that, look, for casual games, if you had 4-6 people, you don't need to get 6 controllers. You could actually even play it right, connect your phone to it. That was the idea. Whoop, went right over their head. But anyway, so the controllers, we're still negotiating with the different retailers out there. A Switch controller, a Joy-Con, is $79. I'd love to get our controller, which has a heck of a lot more tech in it, screens, lights, the whole thing. I'd love to get ours $20 under that. If I could get it at $59.99, I would love that.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I think people are accustomed to buying $60 controllers. Plus, like you said, with the technology in there, it's totally
does go up to 59. If it does go up to 69, that's what the retailers want to do. But then stuff goes on sale, right? So they always need their margin to come down so that when they go on sale or when somebody comes with the coupon, they're still making money. So this is you get it as a small business owner. How it works.
I'm gonna audible to you for a little bit. I know you said you had quite a few questions for Tommy, maybe more on the fan side for those that are maybe pre-ordered on here, or just want to geek out.
Well, I do have a question. With the Fortnite being kicked off of Apple, is there any potential?
Was that crazy?
Yeah. Is there any potential we could see a Fortnite deal coming down the road?
I'm announcing so the guy who does Fortnite is a very dear friend of mine, Donald Mustard. I worked with him on Advent Rising, if you remember that game back on the Xbox and PC. Very dear friend of mine. He loves the Amico. Really? We were just we were in Vegas together in February before the world went to hell. And we were talking, him and his wife, and I'm good friends with his wife. His wife used to be a PR company for gaming. They actually met on Advent Rising. So I was kind of there when they first started dating and stuff. It was great. Awesome people and super. Oh my gosh. Donald is so creative, such a creative genius. And he runs, he runs the whole, thing over there. But yes, I will announce now live on your show. This is an exclusive for you guys that Fortnite will not be coming on the Amico.
Will not be coming.
And it's an exclusive. I've never said that before.
Is there going to be any opportunity for people to have online multiplayer though with the console?
That's a great question, John.
A family local
or streaming or like some kind of sharing or a video or something. I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, that's a great it's a great question. So this is my approach to this. See, if we were to do online gaming now at launch, first of all, that's a major undertaking, right? And again, I'm going to be honest once again and say that it's too much. Like, we got to get the console out there first. And we have so many different features in the console that we have to get right and perfect. And the games have to be great and perfect. Adding online, it doubles the budget to all the games. It doubles the time you need to create all the games. It's a massive expense. So no more $9.99 games. Now you have to go up to at least $19.99 because every single time you're hitting the servers, whether it's Amazon or whatever, Ubisoft has one as well. They have a plan for multi-gaming. You're paying tons and tons of money. And so that's not, and our whole idea is together again. That's our moniker. That's our thing. And so we don't want, little Johnny to take Amico on Christmas and take it in his room, shut the door, put his headphones on, and then not be social with the rest of his family. That's not our message, right? But this is what I'll say. Let's launch the machine. Let's do all that right. Yeah. And then maybe if in a year or two, people who buy the machine really, really want that. Man, my brother lives, or, you and John want to play baseball together and you're in Texas and he's in Jersey. And then it's like, if the overwhelming amount of people are asking for it and they're willing to pay extra for that service, then we will, I guess what I'm saying is we're not closed off to the idea, but we don't want to bite off more than we can.
I think it's smart.
I have something I want to ask you about, and it's it's not really related to the Amico, but it is in a way. I was watching your video again today, so I did watch it more than once, in case you're wondering. And you got to the
you're the one guy who did that. Okay. I didn't even watch it twice. I was sick. I'm sick of hearing my voice every day already. I'm not going to watch myself.
Fair enough. It got to the point where they were doing the tank battle, and I was listening to the music on that, and I recognized the music because I used to listen. I like certain game soundtracks, and I'd listen to them. And one of my favorite game soundtracks of all time is from a game called Black Dawn, which came out. I had no idea.
You win the prize. You win the Intellevision prize today.
I had no idea you did the music to that. That is an amazing soundtrack.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and that was I mean, what a great game that was too. It never got the kudos it deserved. Namco put that out, and then we did Treasures of the Deep right after that game with Namco. And then we did the boxing game, which I helped design and actually won an award for best sports game design. And what was funny is, who I went up against that year? Another game I worked on, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. So we actually beat Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which is insane to me, but it's a cool trophy anyway. But yeah, that was music from Black Dawn. Good on you.
It was awesome. I was like, and Tommy did the soundtrack.
The reason I use that is because we're still making the music for that. But that Black Dawn music, that militaristic, big horns kind of thing, kind of Hans Zimmerish almost, that's the style that we're putting in the game. So I'm like, you know what? Because I'm giving that to the composers and I'm producing all the music and saying, I want it to sound like this.
Right. It's your music.
But you win the award, my friend. I'm sending you an Amico t-shirt. In fact, have you seen our new Night Stalker t-shirts?
Oh yeah. On the video you showed the
Yeah, I'm gonna send you one of those, or you go on our website, go in our store, pick whatever you want. Give me because we have to make you an official Amico
You need to
shill.
be you need to be official, Cyrus, for sure.
And
I am a shill.
You got to go on there. You pick a shirt. I'll cut the damn sleeves off for you. You guys got to become official Amico shills. Drive the haters crazy.
Fair. I'm on board. Let's do it. Let's go.
All right. You guys, I'm being serious. Email me the stuff and I'll get you whatever you want. Send it to you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
What else we got?
Now, you got anything else before we start hitting this chat?
Let's see. Oh, well, I guess we're talking about Night Stalker. Random question. What's the worst position for the respawn on the gun for Night Stalker that you can imagine? Like where
in the original game?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing that sucks the most is that when you definitely, near the spider web. For sure.
Yeah, right.
You got to make that long run down that straightaway, and that's where everybody's coming out, right? So it's like, and I got no weapon. I'm screwed.
The new one is 4-player at the same time. Is that right?
Co-op. Well, so it's a single player. You can play in single player mode, but at any time someone can jump in, and so you can play co-op, and you can also play versus. Oh. Yeah, and with the ricochet bullets, so much fun. And you can turn that on and off if you want. So you're sending bullet. Remember playing battle tanks on triple action when you'd have the ricochet shots? Yeah. Well, we have that in our battle tanks game. Of course, I had to bring that over. But we also put that in Night Stalker as well. You pick up a special weapon and now you can bounce bullets around and stuff. It's really cool.
Do you have like all the robots, like the invisible robots and all that?
Yeah, gotta have it. And did you see the trailer for it that we put out last year?
Yeah.
Did you see those big blob things as well? Oh, yeah, we're having a whole bunch of new stuff. It's going to be amazing.
Is that a launch title? Is that
on launch, my friend? 100%.
Okay. Is that Finnegan? Can you tell me, Tommy? Is that Finnegan Fox going to be a launch title?
We are. I would say it's 90% that it's going to be a launch title.
I love those old school platformers, man, and that's my game. It reminded me a little bit of Rayman. That was one of the games I'm talking about. Like if it's a launch title on there.
There's another example of fake news is that, and again, I even explained it in the thing, and I said this game is based on a previous game called Fox and Forest. And what we did is we took that game, redesigned it, made it really cool with our controller, added co-op, or actually it's a versus mode, added multiplayer, and completely redid the graphics. And, it's interesting because, some of the things like when we showed Earthworm Jim, so many people are mad at us because it's not pixel art. And it's like, well, the original game was hand-drawn animation. So sorry if it looks better and looks different from what you remember as a kid, but look, we're the people who made the original one. If we could have made it like this 25 years ago, we would have, but you had the technology back then. It's what we had, and that's why it looked like it did, and it looked great back then, and this looks great now. And if people don't like it, the look of it, I get it. That's fine. Then don't buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. No one's got a gun to your head saying you must buy an Amico and Earthworm Jim. They're mad because it's an exclusive on Amico.
So is Earthworm Jim? Earthworm Jim is going to be a traditional platformer how the originals were. Is that right?
Well, again, for the most part, because remember the originals weren't platformer games. The majority was, But remember, like in the second game, remember they had a 3/4 view of the tropical thing, and you were going that. Remember the snot thing when you're trying to bang them, the Sarge against the wall. Remember when you were in a ball and you were floating around. Remember when you're bouncing puppies from house to house. We even had a thing in there where you played a game show in the second one, where So it's going to be a lot.
Hold on 1 second. Rick, man, look, if you come into my chat, dude, and you start talking bullshit and stupid to my mods, you're going to get banned. Plain as simple as that. So Tommy, I've never seen you on any of my anything in my channel before. You want to come in here and start talking stupid about me banning people? Yeah. If you come in my chat and disrespect my mods, you're going to get banned. I'm sorry. This is a conversation for adults. And we're talking about a product, and we're having a good time.
So loser console and loser people, he says, hey, go to Tallarico.com and read my bio and tell me how much of a loser I am. Go ahead.
Let's talk about
the joys of doing it live.
Let's talk about Earthworm Jim just a little more. Is this the way you're kind of describing it makes me think of like a Mario Party type game where it has like several mini games?
No. It's going to be mostly platform. I just wanted to throw out there that it's not strictly a platform, but and we have multiplayer as well too. And so it's going to be a different, like the original game, it's going to be a different experience, not just straight platform, but a lot of it will be, but we're going to have a whole bunch of other really cool stuff that's not platforming in there as well too.
You have any idea when we might see a little more, like just anything else?
The game's over a year away. And that was really, and by the way, just so folks know, that was, that was something that was in-game engine. That was real gameplay. People are like, oh, cinematic. No, it wasn't. That's what the game's going to look like, and that was real gameplay. That was us moving Jim around on the screen, right? And so we could have shown a lot more, but again, that was just a sneak peek. Why did you? People are so upset at us. Why didn't you show more? Well, that's the idea. We have a year to go. Let me ask you this. How many PlayStation 4 games that are coming out, or Switch games that are coming out next Christmas have you seen? You're seeing stuff for this Christmas or maybe next Q1 of next year. So we that was just a really quick sneak peek just to get everybody to see what it's going to kind of look like. Yeah. And we need to keep a lot of bullets in our gun, right? We need to keep, we need to hold stuff back. We can't blow our load, as they say, right out of the gate. Now we have nothing to sell. Now we have nothing to talk about for the next year.
I think John and I were in agreement that we feel like Earthworm Jim is your killer app. That's like possibly like
a lot of people have said that. Yeah.
And so that we just feel really excited about it. So that's the only reason
I was just going to say that I agree with you guys that it's the killer app for a certain demographic.
That's okay. Fair enough.
Because mom with 2 kids in Alabama, Middle America, South, whatever. I mean, Texas, Jersey, whatever. They don't care about Earthworm Jim. They don't know what Earthworm Jim is, but if they can play cornhole or bowling with grandpa and there's Sesame Street for their kids, that's the killer app for them, right? But I do agree. I think to get a certain demographic, I think that's going to be a big one that's going to draw people in. And again, people get so angry. Go on the Earthworm Jim view. I think we have 110,000 views in a week, and read some of the negative comments, and they're like, why is this only on Amico? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, tell me, can you play Mario on Xbox? I'll wait. Can you play Master Chief on the Switch? I'll wait. So it's like, well, all of a sudden we're doing something that's so horrible. How dare you? Well, look, no one else wanted to make Earthworm Jim over the last 20 years, right? And so the original team finally gets together, and we want to make it on this because it's so unique, and we can do things on this that we can't do on any other systems. So, if you're disappointed for that, I get it, fine. But, that's if you want to play the new game, you can only play it on here because we're only making it this, you know.
So
Tommy,
your console has a positive message. It's aimed at families and other groups, but families. You've got games that are anybody can play.
Yeah.
Why this negativity? I'm like, come on, man. This is a positive thing from an obviously positive guy trying to do something in gaming that nobody tries because it's insanely
it's
difficult.
hard.
Yeah. Right.
It's impossible. Look, if I pull this off, and let me say this, when I pull this off, right? Because people hear me talk and they, look, I have a lot of confidence. And I'm sure Jonathan can appreciate this as well. In order to take a dream and take it to fruition and to be successful, you have to have confidence in yourself. Now, people who don't have confidence in themselves look at people like me and go, and you can read it in the chat. That guy's arrogant. That guy's egotistical. That guy's a narcissist. So what they're doing is they're confusing my confidence of success, which you need to have in order to succeed. They're mistaking that for I'm a jerk, and if somebody comes up to me, I'm just going to say, "Oh, screw you, buddy. Don't you know who I am?" Like that kind of thing. And there's a very big difference between egotistical and narcissism as opposed to having confidence in your product and passion,
There's two questions here. I didn't really understand, but I'm going to ask them because the chat seems like it's a good idea overall, at least to some people. What happened with CNET and what happened with Jay Allard? I don't know who Jay Allard is.
Nothing at all happened with Jay Allard. Jay Allard was the guy, one of the original creators of the Xbox, and he's the guy who created Xbox Live, and then he created the Xbox 360, and then and he did all of these amazing things. He was the guy who brought Microsoft, who Bill Gates credits to bringing Microsoft onto the internet, right? And so, and he was at Microsoft for 20 years, and about, let me see, I don't know if it was maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we had a big announcement that Jay is now with Intellevision. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people, I guess they're asking why wasn't he on our stream? Cause he didn't want to take away, he said, I don't want to take away from everybody else. And he even says you can, anyone can tweet him or whatever. And he said, you know what? I don't like doing the PR thing. I did it at Microsoft, but it's not really. He's like, I'm a hardware guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm a hardware guy. I just want to deal with the hardware stuff. I don't want to be the face of this thing. Tommy, that's your thing, and what was the other question?
Something about CNET. What happened with CNET?
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess they're maybe referring to they gave us like a negative review on.
I'm guessing I have no context.
I don't know. I guess you'll have to ask the writer.
You got people fishing, man.
I'm assuming. I want to try and get to as much as we can, as long as it's not derogatory.
Well, what it is they gave it to the hardcore elitist gamer at CNET.
And so he Sony looks at and Xbox and Switch games.
And he hated it. So what happened? Somebody who's not our demographic reviewed the game. Just like I said before, it's like asking somebody who loves heavy metal music to review a country music album. It's not going to go well. So that's what happened.
Yeah. You know what we have too much of this like cancel culture BS where people they see somebody who's doing something interesting, who's getting some attention, and they got to have their little piece of that. So this is a bunch of little whiny little clingers on, man. I'm disgusted that we have to spend any time talking about or to these little piss ants. It really bothers me.
Well, and again, you look at the comments. It's like, well, Jay Allard said this, and now he's an advisor. It's like,
Tommy, these people are beneath you. They're not worth your time.
This is why you're here, Cyrus, to piss those people off. That's exactly why you're here.
Fuck those motherfuckers. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say.
I'm gonna try and go through the chat here. Ryan Landis, who's a longtime subscriber, can you ask about his plans for the storefront? As an example, the Switch is a mass. How will they show? How will you show content on the storefront then?
Yeah, I mean, we gave a little bit of a hint of it, and that's not what it's going to look like. We're gonna do a whole presentation with our they call it a UI, user interface, right? The storefront or your library, if you will. We showed a little idea of it during the thing because we didn't want to show the real thing, but that was one that we had up. By the way, that we had up and running a year and a half ago. This machine that's not done and that doesn't have, it's running off of an emulator or whatever. But what you saw is like each game has its own like kind of globe, and you have a monitor that shows gameplay. Because one of the things that I dislike about mobile, for example, is it's all these like fake icons, right? Doesn't really show what the game is. It's all these just fake little squares. And even when you go on Amazon Prime Video or when you go on Netflix, it's like you see a picture and text, JPEG and a text, and you kind of have to dig down to get to the trailer to play the trailer, right? And so I just wanted it to be more like, wouldn't it be great if you just could click a game and you just started seeing it play? Like you started to see what it was. And so that's what that, and you saw a little bit of us doing it when I clicked through, and then I got to skiing and you saw, so that's kind of what it's going to be like. But it's going to look a lot better than what we had, that we showed in the thing. And that's what I said in the presentation. Hey, look, this is just this is a, whatever, work in progress or whatever I said. So
there's a lot
of, can I just say real quick? A lot of people want to see the controller again. And I'm curious about the battery life on your controller. Like,
that's a great question. A lot of people don't ask about that. Yeah. So that's part of all the crazy testing that we're doing now, and we have to have 50 compliance tests on this. That means, how hard it is. John, do you have to do like compliance testing? I'm sure you do.
We have to get everything we make has to go to a third party like testing facility.
And how many do you have to do? Is it just one company that does them all, or how many?
So we have one company and they have to test a percentage of our product.
Right. Gotcha. So for us, we have to, and how kind of difficult and time consuming that can sometimes be, right?
Yeah, it's the longest. That's the longest part of the whole thing, actually. It's just
longest part of the whole thing. Speaking truth, right here, dropping truths. For us, John, we have to do 50 of those, 50 different compliance companies, because we have 25 just in the United States alone. But because we're releasing in Canada and we're releasing in the UK and we're releasing in Germany and we're releasing in Poland, every country, Italy, every country has their own different compliance tests. So
how do you sleep at night? I would have anxiety all the time. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Jeez. That would drive me crazy.
So do you have any idea about it, or is it just it's too soon to really tell about the battery life?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot to answer the question.
See, that's the same shit I do, Si. You always it's an Italian thing.
Right now, we're getting about 6 hours out of the battery. And again, it's wireless contact charging as well. So, you just put it on, you put it on the base when you're done with it. Or if you have extra controllers, you could be playing and then have a controller in the dock. But here's the other great thing. Again, we want to make this easy, and we don't want to like gouge people. See that? USB-C. So, so you can just plug it into your wall and charge it if you wanted to as well. We don't require you to buy special cables or no, just plug it in the wall if you want, or just lay it right on the dock and it charges automatically with wireless contacts.
If you're like theoretically speaking, I don't know if this is a situation that has come up. If the controller battery dies on you while you're playing the game, can you switch to a different, like to your phone or to another control or something?
You can switch to another controller. You can switch to your phone. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all. Okay. That's all I was curious about there.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Trying to see if there's any others I can hit. You guys have any questions, do it now. It's hard
questions
to
that are not like thinly veiled insults.
Oh, here you go. There you go. There you go. It's weird that just a while ago, RetroBro was critical about Amico, but now it's all softball questions. See, didn't I warn you?
Where do you see? Okay, I don't.
Hey,
I did,
guys.
I'm not going to go out and buy one. How am I? It's a serious question. I mean, whatever. You know what? I don't care.
If anybody
again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with this.
What do you want me to? Hey, Tommy, go fuck yourself, huh? What do you want?
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what they wanted. That's what they were waiting for.
Go to my channel. Bring me the hate. Leave this. We're done. We're done with you with that crap.
Right. Well, no, it's just funny because you asked them to give questions.
Yeah.
You asked them their questions. I answered them, but you're the shit.
Well, they don't like the answer. When that happens typically, and I'm not saying anyone in particular here, but usually they just don't want the answer. They don't like the answer they're getting. Exactly. Unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to be a personal trainer, and I used to call those people assholes. They would ask 80 different people the same question, but they were just looking for the answer. They wanted to hear
They wanted to
hear.
Yeah.
So we always call them assholes.
Videogamevirus.com. Video game virus. Bring it. Bring it. I will take your ass. Anyway, never mind.
I have one, Tommy, I have one real final question for you.
Sure.
This is probably the most question. I wanted to save it to the end. It's very important. A lot of people have been asking about it. I'm curious. Sure. Sauce or gravy?
Oh, are you kidding me, my bud, my amico, my paisan? Let me tell you. Now, I hope you don't hate my answer, but as a 100% Italian, I'm going to keep it real with you, my friend. No one calls the crap gravy. It's
Thank you.
No true Italian, you go to Italy and you ask somebody gravy, they'll laugh in your face. And I go to Italy all the time. There is no such thing as gravy. I think what happened is
Goodfellas happened. That's what happened.
Translation, right? And so American Italians who got lost in translation, they might have, their family might have called it gravy because it's, you put that brown stuff onto the turkey and the thing, so that's kind of like you put the red stuff on the thing. Oh, it's like gravy, but no, it's sauce. It's sauce.
Well, now you got a whole new group of people that are gonna come after you for this, Tommy.
I just picked up 5 more haters with fake accounts.
What? It's gravy. Our grandmother made gravy. Blah, 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 blah.
He's so egotistical. What a narcissist. He thinks just because it's gravy that it's not gravy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Tommy. I'm sorry that's anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Retro Advisory Board, you're correct. It's always the people in like North Jersey. So I'm actually from Pennsylvania, but I'm right on the border. I'm 40 minutes north of Philadelphia. I'm right on the border of Jersey. And if you go over to Jersey, they all call it gravy over there. They're the only ones that call it gravy. So right. It's definitely a Jersey thing.
That's funny.
So
Tommy, I'm looking forward to the Amico. I feel like the past week or so, now that watching your last video, I really learned a lot more about your system. And then playing Moon Patrol, I think everybody, if you're wondering what the experience is like, at least play Moon Patrol. At least check that out. It's free.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to criticize the guy? Fine, criticize the guy. But what is it? I always had a friend from high school used to say, "Don't diss it till you try it." I won't talk about in what context that was said. But come on, guys, you want to like bag on the guy and say all these little negative things and look up any little detail you can find a conspiracy theory. Was at least try the thing, take a look at what he's doing, see what's going on. This guy is doing something for the gaming industry, which I think is going to have ramifications for everybody, whether you're into this kind of game or not. This is the kind of stuff that the industry needs. New thinking, new ideas, new ways to play games. It's all about the game itself. It's about the video game itself. You want to criticize the hardware? Fine. Try the game. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, okay, call me.
Simple, huh?
2 minutes of shill. Whatever. I said that's
at the end of the day, me as a retro gamer and as someone who loves video games, yeah, how many times do we say, how cool would it be to have a new console, to have something else? Granted, There's been a lot of companies that have failed in the past. You look at the Coleco Chameleon that never even got off the ground. The Ouya that was, supposed to be a success, never got off the ground. I think as me personally, this is me talking. Obviously, it's not Cyrus or Tommy talking, but I see it as another option.
Yeah,
I'm going to cheer loud if you guys succeed. I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to be critical. Some people say I didn't ask hard questions. Tommy, you when I messaged you earlier in the week, I said, hey, I'm still trying to get back to the interview. You even said, hey, I saw some of your comments and some other videos. You were pretty critical. I said, yeah, I am. I was 100% upfront with you.
Yeah.
But there's a way to be critical and there's a way to be a hater. And then when I see somebody like you, Tommy, who's investing so much time, their life, blood, sweat, tears, I have a lot of respect for that because I've been there.
Appreciate that.
Never on the scale that you've been there. And I can look at that and go, here's a guy trying for something. We should cheer him on. Hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm not invested in it financially. If you're somebody who's hating on it, what do you care? You're not invested in it financially. You didn't put any money. Who cares?
Exactly. And the other thing too that I think is important to note that again, fake news out there, but you were critical. You had every right to be. You didn't, you don't know a lot about it, and you still look. I always tell people, look, be critical. When you play, don't make a decision until you play it. That's all I'm saying, right? Yeah. But you were critical of it, and you weren't like overly mean, and I wasn't mean to you either. When we exchanged, I think on one of your on one of your videos where you're a little down on it, I didn't attack you. Oh, you're an idiot. We were very respectful of each other. And again, even when I said that to you, I said, hey, I saw that you're still, got questions or criticism. And what did I say? I say, and I totally understand. Yeah. I totally get it. And let's talk more. And I think what you'll find, John, is the more you find out about it, the more you'll okay, I start to get this now. But when you put it in your hands, and I'm going to come out there personally, and we'll play it together or whatever. When you put it in your hands and you play it, and if you have kids and they're playing it, and your wife all of a sudden comes in and she's playing it, you're going to be like, what's happening right now? This is pretty cool. That's when you'll be 100% on board, I hope. And by the way, if you're not, that's fine too. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Not everybody has to like everything.
Exactly.
But you should at least get respect when somebody's trying to do something in a positive way for gaming. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you don't like it. Okay, well, you don't like it. But so what?
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, man, hey, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad we talked about this for well over a month. Finally got our schedules to align.
I know. And let's do it again. Let's do it.
Whenever there's new announcements, I'd love to have you on. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got my email. Anytime you want to talk, you hit me up, and or just to chat. And if I'm ever on the East Coast when this COVID crap's over, I want to hook up, and we'll go get some proper sauce together.
There we go.
Actually, we'll make it.
I'll make it. Absolutely,
man. I'll bring the San Marzano tomatoes. You kidding me?
My wife stays out of the kitchen when that happens.
That's right. You don't want to be anywhere near us on a Sunday in the kitchen. Awesome, nice. Man. Well,
all right, Tommy. Well, thank you so much. Everyone in the chat, thank you for everybody who contributed, positive, negative, this or that. I hope Tommy was able to answer some questions. Maybe not all of them. I think that's impossible. But hopefully, we were able to help in that aspect. Again, Tommy, thanks a lot. Cyrus, thank you for being on here, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome Cyrus, great to meet you, man.
Dude, my pleasure, Tommy. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you still play your Intellevision?
Dude, yes.
Dude, he plays everything.
What's your jam?
I have Night Stalker, Snafu, Space Armada.
Wait till you see the new Snafu. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I didn't even ask you about
Dude,
Snafu.
wait to dan 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 dan. Sing it with me. Dan 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 dan. And the other one. Dan dan dan.
Oh my god.
Dan dan. No, but do you play baseball?
Not really.
I
a little bit.
How about hockey? Like we got to play some too. I'll kick your ass at Utopia. I'm telling you right now.
Okay. All right. Well,
challenge accepted. He owed me $10 and he did.
Or where are you near? Dallas or what?
I'm
Texas?
Yeah, I'm right between Dallas and Fort Worth. I'm right at I'm right there.
I mean, I go out there all the time. I play with the Symphony in Fort Worth and with Dallas. We play at Meyerson. In Fort Worth, we've played outdoors at the Botanical Garden, my video game show. Yeah. And we had fireworks going off there playing with the Symphony. So next time I get out there, I'm going to get you tickets. I'm going to hook you up. We're going to go backstage. But afterwards, the following day, we're going to get together at your house and we'll play some OG Intellevision.
All right, man. All right. Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks again, everyone in the chat. Tommy, Cyrus. You guys are awesome. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Check out some of my other content.
Sky, come on.